Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome into Rover Sports. I wanted to talk a little bit about today's Chiefs-Ravens game. I thought that the game was absolutely fantastic. I was surprised by how well the Ravens defense played today. You know, this is a Ravens team that has been up and down all year long. I mean, the Ravens, I was on the Ravens when they beat the Titans 21-0, when their defense was coming alive and playing well. And then the Ravens lost 3 straight games. They lost to Carolina, played terrible in Carolina. At home against New Orleans, they gave up 24 points. They've been an up and down team all year. They lost to the Browns away from home. The Steelers came to Baltimore and beat them. They just haven't been able to put it together. Now, the reason they've been so effective is because they've been able to hold the football with time of possession. They were able to do that against the Raiders. They were able to beat the Falcons. Today, their defense just was playing at full strength. They were playing with great confidence. They came into the game expecting to win the game. The pressure that Matthew Judon and Terrell Suggs were able to get up the middle on to Patrick Mahomes. It was a really spectacular performance by the Ravens, and I've been ragging on John Harbaugh, ragging on Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had some good touch throws in the game. He made a nice throw on the crossing route to John Brown. He converted the 4th down for a touchdown. Now, he does not have a big arm whatsoever. I don't think he has that great of arm talent to be consistent making throws outside the numbers. And he had that fumble that could have costed them the game. But today it was just about Patrick Mahomes being the most valuable player in the NFL. I mean, that 4th down and 9 that he had throwing across his body like 50 yards on a line to Tyreek Hill was one of the best plays of the NFL season. Then on 4th and 1, they were able to slip out that running back Williams for a touchdown. It was an incredible performance from Mahomes today, and they needed everything out of Pat Mahomes to win that game. Mahomes, to me, I've been watching football for as long as I've been watching football. This guy, I think, is the most talented player that I've maybe ever seen. I mean, I'd go Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, and then I'd do Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the no-look pass, the sidearm throw that just seemed to rise with power to that running back. He can throw it off platform. He could do no-look throws. He is a magician. He's the Pete Maravich, Steph Curry of NFL football. And he's quite a competitor. He has great personality and leadership. There is nothing bad you could say about this kid. So much fun. And even his harshest critics must admit that this dude is a success beyond everyone's wildest imaginations. Kansas City now with the Miami Miracle play. The Kansas City Chiefs are most likely going to be beating the Chargers, and they are going to be hosting the playoffs at Arrowhead. And now for Kansas City, I believe that they can beat the Texans, who lost to the Colts today. The conference looks more wide open. I think it's the Chiefs' year possibly to make it to the Super Bowl. I think that the Patriots will be very difficult to handle. I think the Pats now, with Houston and the Pittsburgh Steelers losing, the Patriots still, I believe, have a chance to go up to the Steelers, and they still have a chance to go and win and get a bye and get second. So I believe that the AFC title game is going to probably be New England and Kansas City, and it's going to be a wild game in that AFC Championship. For the Ravens, the defense was so great, but now can the Ravens sustain this type of play? Will they get discouraged because they lost a really close game to the Kansas City Chiefs? They laid it all on the line. I don't think the Ravens are going to play that well pretty much the entire rest of the season. I mean, that was a very heartbreaking loss for a Ravens team that was 2 4th down plays away from winning this game. And you got to give credit to John Harbaugh for preparing the team well. This team loves playing for him. You look at RG3 and Joe Flacco, and if Lamar Jackson is struggling throwing the ball, you have two guys in RG3 and Joe Flacco that can come in and try to spark the offense with throwing the football. So I look at what Lamar Jackson brings. He brings great running to the table. He's able to keep his defense off of the field, the time of possession. The Ravens are able to play keep away with Lamar Jackson. And it's an interesting predicament. I believe if the Ravens go 9-7, the Ravens have the ability to beat the Chargers. The Ravens have the ability to make the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs and their defense plays this well, I think that John Harbaugh will then be of this football team going forward in Baltimore. But I said the Ravens were screwed. I got to give them credit. Anybody who watched that game today, it was one of the best games of the NFL season. But it just shows you how special Mahomes is. It shows you how special Andy Reid is in those clutch situations to make those plays down the stretch. And the Chiefs had to win an ugly game. And they needed to win with defense, and their defense was able to get some big plays on Lamar Jackson. Harrison Butker had a chance to win that game. It was just one of the best games of the year, and Kansas City, their defense is good enough, I think, to win the AFC. And Mahomes showed you that he's by far. I think Mahomes is going to win the MVP. Should win the MVP award this year. He was absolutely ridiculous. I don't think any other quarterback wins that game. So the way you look at the AFC right now, I think that the Chiefs really have a great chance. With New England losing today to Miami, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have their shot at going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be at Arrowhead this year. It's been a magical year. It's the type of year and the type of game that Kansas City's been able to pull out. It's just a really special season, and you got to give Kansas City and Mahomes just tons of credit for their fight, for their resolve. And I called Mahomes would be the MVP before the season, or that he would finish second to Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G got hurt, but I was the highest on Mahomes before the season started. That game against Denver, he was throwing in all those layered throws late in that ball game last year, and he was making throws in the last game of the regular season last year in Denver. I knew that Mahomes was going to adapt great. Then you add Tyreek Hill, you add Conley and Watkins, you had Kareem Hunt on your team, you have Travis Kelce, tons of weapons, but Mahomes, the arm talent, even the 61-yard throw against the Atlanta Falcons in the Georgia Dome, you can just see that this kid was incredibly special. Now, no one could have expected him to play this outstanding, making no-look passes, throwing for 47 touchdowns or whatever the heck touchdowns he's thrown for. No one could have even surpassed these expectations. This is one of the great offenses in the history of the NFL. I called it. I was the one making those crazy statements, and now they're not crazy at all anymore because Mahomes is that good of a player, and he's been that effective for the Kansas City Chiefs, and this offense has been that effective. And Spencer Ware goes down. I don't know the status of what's going on with Ware. But for Kansas City, this isn't their typical, 12-win, 13-win season. They now have a quarterback that, is so dangerous in the postseason. They have a Brett Favre-like quarterback, and Brett Favre was able to take his team to Super Bowls when he was young in his career, when he had a great coach, when he had a decent defensive personnel. You look now at Mahomes' contract, and these are the golden years. When a quarterback is young, you can win championships when a quarterback is young because they won't be making all that money. You look at what Tom Brady did, what Russell Wilson did, what Carson Wentz did, Dak Prescott even having success. Jared Goff, when you look at rookie quarterbacks, Mitchell Trubisky or quarterbacks on their rookie deal, that's when your team can potentially get really good if you have the right head coach and if your offense is ready to click and play really well. And that's what Kansas City is doing right now, and it's been brilliant. And the defense, D Ford and everybody's playing a little bit better. But this is just a game that just shows you it's a special season from Kansas City. It's honestly a very, very special year for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes is remarkable at quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks that we're ever going to see. And eventually I might have to stop doing film reviews on him because he's going to turn into Aaron Rodgers, where it'll sound like a broken record when you're oohing and ahhing at his spectacular play. So what a great game. Credit to Baltimore. I ragged on you guys really hard on Friday. Probably came at you guys way too hard. Congratulations on a hell of a performance today. You guys really deserve to win the game with the way you guys played. You ran into Patrick Mahomes. He bailed out Kansas City in a spectacular game. And thanks for watching the video. Congratulations to the Chiefs. And for Baltimore, you guys have hope with this defense to sneak into the playoffs. And if you get into the playoffs, you'll be very dangerous once you get there. All right, I'll see you guys.